Hi everybody and welcome to the Daily Streak. He's Jake Craney.
That's true, and he's Steve DeBerry.
Welcome to this special Friday of the TPC, the Players Championship edition of the Daily Streak. Today we will be talking about strictly golf props. Should be an interesting day. Jake, what are we going to start with today?
Let's start out with the first prop on the board. Lower first nine score between Luke Donald and Lee Westwood. Luke Donald having the tie option.
Okay.
What are you thinking here?
Donald, although he's had a couple top three finishes lately, he hasn't been all that impressive. He's been somewhat inconsistent. He also hasn't proven that he can win on the big stage. We're not talking about winning, we're just talking about 9 holes here. Lee has proven himself on the big stage, and today was a really up and down round for Luke Donald, recording only 8 pars. So that means 10 of his holes were either birdies or bogeys or any other score. So the inconsistency says go with Lee. However, Luke has shown and proven this year that he has historically gotten off to a slow start in the first round and bounced back to shoot 67, 66 in the second round after starting with 75, 72, 73s. On the flip side of that, Lee Westwood has been the opposite. He usually starts out in the 60s and then gets his round in the 70s or over par in the second round. I like Luke Donald for this prop for the mere fact that he's much better on Fridays than he plays on Thursdays. So I'm going Luke Donald.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going Lee Westwood, and here's why. Westwood was actually more up and down than Donald was today. He had 3 birdies and 3 bogeys, and Donald had 2 of each. And it's so even that the tie option looks really juicy, and it's going to sway a lot of people. But this is their holes 10 through 18, and you've got that 17 hole, which is a wild card there. And what happened today was Donald birdied it, and Westwood bogeyed it, and they had even scores on that back 9. And my thought is that you can't count on Westwood to bogey that hole again, and you can't count on Donald to birdie it again. And as we're filming this, it's kind of tough because we don't know the hole placement yet. But I'm going to say that that hole kind of evens out on the second day, and Westwood takes this by a stroke.
Okay. You are correct. We don't know the hole placement yet, but I'd say it was I believe front right today. It was towards the front. It was a very tough pin to get to. We'll talk a little bit more about where I think the pin's going to be today, a little bit later on. And actually, that's a good segue into the Jason Duffner prop.
J-Duff! The Duff Man!
The Duff Man got a prop for par versus any other score on the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Scott had the same prop today. He got a par.
That was Steve's lock of the day, by the way.
It was my
got
lock.
Him back in the green.
Yes, I am. Jake, what do you like here?
Honestly, it's a complete coin flip. Because again, we don't know the pin placement yet. He bogeyed it yesterday, and the hole itself is a wild card. You could put it right next to the pin, have an easy birdie, or you could put it in the water just as easily, I feel like. I'm going to go ahead and just say that he lands it on the green, 2 putts for par. That's with really no knowledge other than the fact that he bogeyed it today. I think he'll play it safe, make sure he lands it on the green, and then 2 putts it.
All right. So I went with the par today. 58% of golfers at the TPC today were getting a score of par versus any other result on all par 3s. So shooting a par is slightly, just straight up, is a slight favorite to getting any other score when you're talking about par 3s to begin with. The key to this prop, though, is where I think the pin's going to be. You're obviously going to save a tough pin placement for Sunday. You used a tough one today. You've got nowhere to go but an accessible pin. Or they used a tough one yesterday. Today, you've got nowhere to go but an accessible pin. And I think it's going to be a high-risk reward pin where if you get it on the green, you're going to be in birdie striking distance. If you don't get it close, you're going to be in the water. So I see a lot of 2s happening today and a lot of 4s and 5s happening today. For this prop, I'm going yes for any other score. Or I'm going with the any other score option.
Okay, interesting. Let's move on to Tiger Woods, one of everybody's favorite subjects, and Ricky Fowler. We have lower second round score with Tiger getting the tie option. What are your thoughts there?
You know, I have a man crush on Tiger Woods.
We know.
Still, even after his romp through the valley and all the porn stars it had to offer.
It's a little excessive to have his picture in a heart-shaped frame next to your bed, though. It's a little much.
He's a good guy, in spite of all of this. Ricky shot 72 today, Tiger shot 74. Ricky won last week. The easy pick here is Ricky. But I'm not going with the easy pick. I am going with Tiger Woods.
Surprise, surprise.
He's got the tie option. He's got a lot to prove tomorrow. He, at one point this season, was #1 on the tour in fairways hit and accuracy off the tee. Today, oddly enough, he was horrid off the tee and hitting fairways. No one was talking about his putter. He's back to putting normally to where people are quiet about it. He's going to get the stuff off of the tee worked out tomorrow, and he's going to shoot a good score. Ricky Fowler doesn't have the experience at TPC at Sawgrass, and I believe that just like we saw with Phil today, his experience won through over Rory. I think that's going to be the same thing with Tiger today, and you got to remember, this is streak for the cash, not streak for the stash. So there's no benefit from Ricky Fowler and his ugly mustache today. None whatsoever.
I like it. I am going to take Fowler, though. I just love disagreeing with you. Fowler, like you said, beat Tiger by 2 strokes yesterday. Playing better. He's hitting more fairways, higher greens in regulation. There is no reason for me whatsoever to believe that he won't be a stroke better today as well. I mean, I've got to go out and say Fowler takes this as long as he doesn't get sick to his stomach with whatever hideous outfit he decides to wear.
That's also a great point. Between the mustache and the bright orange, I don't know which one's going to hold him back more today.
Well, if he doesn't golf well, he can always become a 1970s retro porn star.
That's in his future, but then he might have to watch out for Tiger Woods hitting on him.
That's true. That's a good point.
All right, so what do we got for the last prop of the day?
Last prop of the day, you've got the trio of Nick Watney, Ben Crane, and Brandt Snedeker. They're asking if either of those, any of those guys, will card a birdie on the 17th hole. They love that 17th hole. All 3 parred it yesterday. What are your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot of water around the 17th, and the fish are flocking to no birdie. But, me being the shark that I am lately, I am going with yes birdie, and the reason is the same reason with the Jason Duffner prop. It's going to be an accessible pin. Everyone's going to be firing at it. Even today there were a lot of birdies on 17. Tomorrow's going to be no different, and you're going to see a birdie out of this group. This group played pretty well today.
Okay, I agree. I'm going to take the chances that one of them will birdie. I think you have all 3 of them parring, so it's not like this hole. It's not like they're going for broke on this hole and hitting the water. They're on the green. They're 2-putting. They're getting they're getting their par today. I think they'll be a little more aggressive, and one of them will get the birdie.
Okay, well we have a few minutes to spare. We got through those golf props pretty quickly. Let's talk about the streak in general right now. We've got, it's May 11th. The lead right now is 18. Okay. What's your strategy right now if you're sitting on a W6, a W7, a W8?
I think you just have to slow play it, which is the problem that I always get into, because I've been at that 4 and 5 this month, and I just can't stop picking, even if I haven't quite researched it. When I go with my locks and the stuff that I'm really confident in, it's pretty good. It's not perfect, obviously, because I'm sitting at an L1 right now, but I think you have to still play it slow. I don't think you can get caught up in 50-50 golf props if you're on a W7, W8. The guys that race out to 15 and 16, I have no idea how they do it. So I think you just have to pick confidently once you get up to 7 or 8 and realize that you still have a couple of weeks and one really confident pick a day and you'll be right up there.
Yeah, you got, I mean, if you're sitting in W8 right now, one confident pick a day, 20 days gets you up to a W8
stash.
Or W28, which is the stash, and that's what everyone's going for, right? So now's not the time to be betting every prop in the day. It's tough. We all get stuck in that, but if you've seen the picks that we've been researching lately, we've been doing really well with.
Yeah, and when we've agreed, we've won almost every one recently.
So our best advice to anyone out there and to ourselves is to slow it down. Don't just pick props when you don't know anything about them, or the prop that you wanted to pick you missed because your baseball game ran too long. Don't do that. Don't go with the percentages. We saw today, I mean, we talked yesterday about the Indians and the Red Sox, and after doing research with the road record of the Indians, the home record of the Sox,
pick and they won.
It was clearly the smarter pick, even though Vegas had them as a pretty big underdog. If you do the research, stick with it, don't worry about where the percentages are, you'll be successful. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back with Charles's lock of the day. You really don't want to miss that segment because he is hot right now.
That kid is on fire.
He is. Charles is very well known for going with his gut these days. That's his motto, go with his gut, and it's been paying off for him. Stick around. Welcome back. It's time for Charles's pick of the day. Jake, what will he be picking today?
Well, Charles will also be picking a golf prop as per the theme today. He will be picking the prop between Jeff Ogilvy, Vijay Singh, and Scott Verplank's combined score on that 17th hole. Is it going to be 8 or 9 strokes or any other result?
Charles Craney, what do you have? There you have it. Charles is going with 8 or 9 strokes. We'll be right back with our locks of the day. Welcome back. It's time for our locks of the day. Let's start off with Chris DeBerry. Chris is actually locking in. He's going with golf. He's going with the theme, and he's going with
soccer.
No soccer.
Wow.
He's skipping the Irish Premier League.
Oh.
And he's going with Lee Westwood, the 9-hole prop against Luke Donald. He's going with
that pick.
Lee Westwood. Jake, what do you have as your lock?
My lock of the day is the Cubs over the Brewers with Matt Garza on the mound. I'm a big Garza fan. He's been throwing hot fire so far this year, as opposed to his counterpart Randy Wolf, who just, well, he just sucks. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's not very good for a starting major league pitcher at this point. The last time the Cubs faced the Brewers with Garza pitching, he pitched scoreless into the 9th, and they won 8-0. I have no reason to believe this is going to be different. Garza pitches the Cubs even without a lot of run support to a win.
I really hope Randy Wolf's mother's not watching.
I somehow don't think Mrs. Wolf is watching. If she is, I apologize to your son. I don't know him personally. I just might want to pick a different career.
I am going with the Washington Nationals with Gonzalez on the mound. He's been lights out this year. We've seen that if you're rolling with some of those big pitchers, the Derek Lowe's, the Justin Verlanders, your boy Garza, it's paying off this year. I'm going with Gonzalez to continue the hot hand, and I'm going with the Nationals.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in today, everyone. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the golf tournament, and we will talk to you next week.